This is Makonas Pokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. Today I want to start with part one of a topic that speaks about change your words in order to change your mind. Change your words in order to change your mind. And I want to speak about this because these are mindset matters that needs to be adopted in life. Now, as a young man, I want you to adopt a different mindset, because a mindset has got a way of either qualifying you or disqualifying you in life. A mindset has got a way of destroying you or building you. Because many people that are successful in life is purely because of their mindset. People that are failing in life also purely because of mindset. And that's the reason why I want to speak about mindset matters that needs to be adopted, which is meaning that you need to change your words, things that you speak. You need to change your language in order to change your mind. So that's very important that I want to speak about that. Now, I want to say this, that you must understand that the mind and the tongue are very related. In other words, you'll see that when you are speaking something, it actually dictates to your mind, and you start having a certain mindset towards that. But also the other way around as well. When you think about something, then it helps you to speak something that you're thinking about, because these two things are very related. But today, for the sake of this topic, which is the part one that we're dealing with, I want us to understand that I want to speak about the influence actually of the tongue to the mind. Because I want us to speak about what you say, how does it influence the mind? How does it change your mindset by just saying something? This is a very important topic that I believe in 2022. As a young man, you're going to need to embark on this. You're going to need to understand that what you're going to say this year is going to determine how you think. It's going to determine your mindset. And when it determines your mindset, it's going to determine your actions as well. Now, you must make sure that you speak right this year. You must make sure that what you say with your tongue is the right thing to say, because whatever you're going to say, it is going to frame you into a certain mindset. And that's what we want to speak about today. Now, I want you to see that if you are going to say, I cannot do it, now you realize that anything that you can say, you cannot do it. You're particularly framing yourself into a mindset of inability, into a mindset of failure, into a mindset of laziness, of saying, I cannot do this thing. Even though you may be able or having capacity to do it. But the fact that you've spoken to say, I cannot do it, you're not going to be able to do it, because your mind is going to relax of it. Your mind is not going to be geared up to make sure that it energizes you to do it, because you're disqualifying yourself by saying, I cannot do it. Now look at this. That instead of saying, I cannot do it, just tell yourself, I am on the right track. And because immediately you say, I'm on the right track, you realize that you are still not there yet. You realize that you're not doing it to perfection, that which you're doing. You realize that you're still having some flaws and failures along the way as you do this thing. In other words, you're not perfect. In other words, you're not an expert of what you're doing. But when you say you're on the right track, you're basically injecting some energy in you to make yourself aware that I can do this thing. It's just that I'm not there yet, but I'm on the right track, because you are influencing yourself. You're motivating yourself as well to make yourself aware that I can do this thing. It's just that it's still not time yet. I'm not there yet. So therefore, when you say I'm on the right track, you are actually looking at the milestones of what you've done and the few steps that you've taken. You're basically applauding yourself for those steps that you've taken. You're basically giving yourself a pat on the shoulder for the few steps that you've taken. And because you've taken some few steps, that will actually help you to continue doing this thing. But remember, immediately you say, I cannot do it, it actually makes you to put a stop to what you're doing. Because if you cannot do it, therefore, why are you continue trying? So it actually dictates to you not to continue trying when you say, I cannot do it. But if you say, I'm on the right track, you basically influence yourself. You give yourself capacity to think, and you give yourself capacity to think laterally as well. Now, the potential that you have when you say, I'm not on the right track, it is still enhanced to be able to perform. Is still being influenced for you to be able to do the things that you're doing in order to be successful. And I want to emphasize this because it's very important that you guard against your tongue. Because that which you say is going to influence your mind, and it's going to put up a certain mindset that will make you not to know or not to be energetic enough to be able to do. So therefore, you're discouraging yourself by saying, I cannot do it. Why not say, I am on the right track? Secondly, if you are going to say, I am foolish, I want you to look at that. When you say you're foolish, so everything that looks like it needs wisdom, or it needs somebody to be clever, or it needs somebody who's educated to do it, you're going to disqualify yourself of it because you're seeing yourself as foolish, and therefore you are not going to even try doing the thing. Because remember, everything that you can do, it starts with trying it. It starts with studying it. You cannot fold your arms and expect something to happen in your life until you take a step to start and do. You're not going to be able to do it. Now, people that say, I am foolish, people that say they are foolish, they cannot start things, therefore, because they disqualify themselves before they even start doing. They disqualify themselves even before they try to put up some things together in order to start this thing that they're trying to do. And they will not even try because they feel they are foolish in this regard. But I want to emphasize, please, as a young man, that you learn not to discourage yourself by what you say, because what you say is actually putting up a certain mindset, as I've said. And when it puts up a certain mindset, it makes you not to even try. It makes you not to even take a step of initiating to do this thing. Now, therefore, instead of saying, I am foolish, why not you say, I am gaining experience with this? Because there are things that you don't know. And that's the reason why you feel stupid when you study them. Because there are things that you have never been exposed to. And that is why when others are doing, you will feel foolish about it because you have never been exposed. You don't have an experience of it. And that doesn't mean that you cannot be able to do it. That doesn't mean that you're not having potential to achieve that thing that other people are doing. I must emphasize that most of the time we disqualify ourselves. And as a young man, I want to urge you, particularly in this year, as the year starts, please learn to encourage yourself, because there's nobody who's going to encourage you. There's nobody who's going to tell you that you're clever, except if you tell yourself. But if you tell yourself you're foolish, you're actually preempting your mindset and making yourself to think that you're foolish in everything. And remember, the word foolish is actually a blanket approach as well, because there are things that you may not be exposed to, people that you don't know, but that doesn't mean you're foolish. But immediately you say you're foolish, you're actually putting a blanket upon everything, and you may have a mindset that even things that are easier to do, but because they are done by people that look wiser, they are done by people that look more clever, you're going to disqualify yourself. You're not going to even try because you would feel that this is not for me. This is for the people that are more clever. Why don't you say, I'm still gaining experience in this? Why don't you say, I need experience in this? So therefore, because when you tell yourself, I need experience of this, it is going to give you an opportunity to practice. It is going to help you to actually have an energy to start practicing and trying out this thing. Or even getting people that are experienced in it to teach you this thing, because you are not foolish, but you just don't have an experience. So therefore, you will need the people that have got an experience to teach you to articulate this thing and to be able to do it. Now, a mindset that you create by telling yourself you're foolish is actually a blanket mindset that will make you, in many times and many occasions, not to try anything in your life because you would be thinking that you're foolish. Now, people that don't think they're foolish, they just think this is an experience that I need to gain and so on. They are actually engaging themselves into it. They are making themselves part of that which is happening. And they are gaining experience, and they know that they will be better as time goes on. They'll be able to do this thing as time goes on. So therefore, you cannot rule yourself out by setting a mindset of saying you're foolish. So please rather say, I am gaining experience. I want to end up here today. Your host, Mike Connor Spokane. Thank you very much for listening to us and being part of this great topic as we're dealing with it. Tomorrow, I'll deal with part 2 of this great topic. So please join us as we deal with part 2 tomorrow. And may the good Lord bless you. Allow me to say cheers for now.